exactly, Gerard. And this is what's so interesting to me because, you mentioned migration a moment ago. And it seems to me that what's happened here is that Donald Trump has absolutely shouldered open the Overton window on what you can say and talk about in terms of migration, including this idea that there is a distinct English people, a distinct American people, a distinct Australian people, for that matter, and that cultural compatibility matters. We're seeing this debate taking off suddenly in Australia as well. Would you say that this is actually a positive contribution, when you get beyond some of the rhetoric he uses, to say that actually you can have these honest conversations about who works and who doesn't when you put people together in a nation?
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, the United States has long been, although in some respects it too has gone off the rails a bit, but the United States has long been a model of how to integrate different cultures, right? People from different civilizations, different backgrounds. I think Australia has too, to be fair, to some extent, although I think, again, Australia's gone off the rails a bit in the last decade or so. But the United States, and the reason it worked in the United States and continues to work, not as well as it did, is because people come to the United States and accept American culture and civilization, accept the values of America, what it stands for. They accept the principles of liberal democracy and capitalism and all of the things that you associate with America. In Europe, what happened, James, is that, especially in Britain, where I come from, the British elites for years and years and years basically said to people, come into our country. It was kind of a legacy of empire, especially from the subcontinent. Come into Britain. We owe you this. And by the way, when you come here, you don't have to follow our rules. You don't have to follow our values, our system. You don't have to believe in it at all. You can establish your own little cultural communities. You can have your kind of Muslim community and your, whatever kind of other particular types of ideals and values that you're doing in different parts of the country. That is the way to break up a country. By all means, welcome immigrants, but say to immigrants, look, first of all, we're going to put a control on the number of immigrants. We're not going to let them in willy-nilly, as the British have done for the last few years. But say to them, you're welcome here, but you're welcome here only if you subscribe to not just our laws and our rules, but our values and our principles and our ideals. And you have to believe in Britain or France or Germany, whatever. The European countries have created this system whereby this multiculturalism, where they've in many cases have literally, visibly, consciously degraded their own historic culture and background and allowed immigrants to establish their own, or to import their own culture, their own values and their own ideals. And that is the way, frankly, to strife and ultimately to disintegration.
Gerard, thank you so much. Exactly right. And who would have thought that Donald Trump would have wound up being, I guess, the best friend in the long run that perhaps the Europeans never knew they had?
Make Europe great again.
Now, don't go away, because we've got the great Carol Markowitz up in a tick. But first, there's been a really grim situation lately with Candace Owens. Remember her? Well, among other things, she's been spreading some fairly bonkers conspiracy theories about murdered conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And Charlie's widow, Erica, well, she's not happy, and she has been doing the rounds with this message to Candace when talking to CBS's Barry Weiss, who, by the way, has been brought in to clean up that media outlet.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies, and she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Stop.
Doesn't get any clearer than that. Powerful stuff.